Yeah, it was like I think we won the first or second Super Bowl. I can't remember. Like back in the 1950s or whenever the first one was, and then we had a dry spell up until we got Mahomes, pretty much. So yeah,
I
it was rough.
I didn't. I mean, you put your finger on it. I wasn't really paying attention to the Chiefs until Patrick Mahomes was on the Chiefs, and then all of a sudden, I remember the first game I saw him play too, and he did some weird one of his like Gumby sidearm throws, and I was like, "Ah, this guy's gonna suck to go against." And then yeah, fast forward to like I said, 8 years or whatever it is of misery for the Broncos.
Yeah, you guys had, was it Peyton Manning? Is that his name for a while?
Yeah,
Yeah. I
Peyton
remember
Manning
being
was
frustrated by watching him play against the Chiefs. I was like, man, he's too good.
well, and he did all that with like some kind of like cybernetic rod in his neck. I remember when we got him in a trade, I was just like, oh, this feels like a mistake. I was totally wrong. Thank God.
Yeah. It was very frustrating watching him play. From my perspective.
Yeah. Yeah. Now this year, though, we can dive into conspiracy theories a little bit. This year, I have not really paid much attention to the NFL, even though my team is getting good, because their second game, I think, was against the Colts, maybe, or the Chargers. Anyway, it came down to a field goal. Kicker had not missed a field goal like ever in the NFL. He's a new kicker, and it was a 60-yarder. And so, of course, he misses a 60-yarder because that's half impossible. And then, of course, they threw a flag, moved him 10 yards closer, and then he kicks it and they win the game. So Broncos lose. And this is like the first two games of the season, and I'm like, here we are again. Here we are again, the refs just taking the wind out of the Broncos' sails. And it's like, even if the conspiracy theory is not true, even if the NFL is not rigged, it still just these days feels like the team is playing against the refs. It doesn't feel like two teams playing against each other.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't watch enough football to confirm or deny these allegations, but it is interesting. I love a good conspiracy theory.
Yeah, well, it got steam because the NBA guy got busted like betting against his team or whatever. So
Interesting.
these are our first world problems in the United States. Are our sports rigged or not? We don't know.
Yeah.
Well, hey, party people, we're here with Adam. Should I just say Adam? Adventures of Adam?
Adam, I chose Adventures of Adam because before that my channel was called Learn to Raid, and people would call me Mr. Learn to Raid. I was like, that is way too uncomfortable. So when I stopped covering Raid Shadow Legends and wanted to transition more into variety, I was like, let's just go by my name. It's easy. It avoids these awkward, like, just Adam. I'm Adam. That's me.
With a big A. Big old A.
Yeah. Yeah,
Why didn't you go by, what is it, DJ Amalgamation? What was
DJ
it?
Algorithm.
Algorithm. DJ Algorithm. What happened to that?
He was a one-hit wonder. Yeah, for those of you who don't know what he's talking about, I was a big fan of Jay Giggs. Still am. I still watch his content, even though he's moved on from Raid and stuff and gotcha games in general. But he used to do these DJ RNG videos where he would do like diss tracks, and there was a bit of banter between him and Darth Microtransaction.
Yes.
Who also has moved on from Raid. But yeah, I don't know. I got super excited because on an April Fool's Day, he uploaded a new DJ RNG track, but it was literally just the Rickroll song, and I was like, it felt like it was fun. It got me, right? April Fools, you got me, but like it just felt so low effort. Like if he had like done like one or two bars or like started playing some music and acted like he was getting ready to sing, and then right before he started rapping, like it switched over to Rick Astley, that would have been a lot more funny. But it was literally just the Rick Astley video. Yeah, just a Rickroll. I was like, okay, bro. So I made a diss track to put him in his place. So yeah, that's what that is. DJ Algorithm.
Did he say anything? Did you?
Yeah, he actually did a reaction video to it, and it's pretty funny.
That.
He had a very good sense of humor about it. So.
He's a good guy, man. That's probably the community I'm the most active in is Jay Giggs community. So he's helped me a little bit with some of this stuff, and I'm hoping that whenever we'll get into this a little bit on the show today, but you have a very Godforge focused podcast. I feel like I have a podcast that's Godforge adjacent for the moment, but when it breaks free, I'm hoping that he'll come on. But We'll see. We'll see if we're still doing this in however many months it takes for the dang game to come out.
Yeah, that'd be dope. Jay Giggs is a good character, man. Every interaction I've had with him has been really great.
Yeah.
He actually came on and did a very short collab with me for like literally
cool.
a YouTube short. We did a little skit. It was before we even knew the name of Godforge. It was back when everyone was just calling it like the Fateless game. I'd sent him a message. It was like, "Hey, I got an idea for a skit. Are you interested?" He's like, "Sure, man. What's going on?" I was like, "We're gonna do a funny skit about how nobody knows anything about this game, but they're super hyped about it." And he's like, "All right, sounds funny. What do you need me to do?" And I just sent him a message like his, what I needed him to do. He recorded it, sent it to me, and then I edited it all together, and it's pretty funny.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he's a super nice guy.
He is. He's good people. So is Darth. Darth is very much into Path of Exile and Diablo now. So sometimes I'll watch him when I'm playing, but I just don't get to watch him enough. I'll catch him on stream every now and then. But I do miss his videos. I think Darth is one of those really interesting characters where like he's equal parts funny and insightful. Sometimes he'll just say something like out of left field that you're just like, man, what a great take. What a thoughtful response that you have. And then the other 75% of the time he's just trolling everybody.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'm not a big action RPG player, so I've not been following him as he's moved on, but I have seen him pop up in my feed when like Diablo 4 came out. His channel kind of blew up, and then Path of Exile and all that. So I'm interested in any RPG, but that's not really my genre. So I did watch some of his videos and just to hear what he thinks about them. And I don't know. I might play. Is Path of Exile 2 officially out?
Yeah,
Or is it still in like early access?
I mean, it's early access, but isn't that just the whole industry now? Your game comes out and it's called early access. Like 7 Days to Die has been early access for like 20 years now.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I wanted to. I was gonna wait till it was actually out so I could play it for free because I know for a fact that I won't play it long term, but I am curious to try it. So I downloaded Path of Exile 1 and played it for about 20 minutes. And I was like, this is kind of fun, but like I was watching some gameplay of Path of Exile 2 and it looks way cooler. So I was like, well, I'll just wait until the 2 comes out and I can try it for free and whatever. But yeah.
I have not played it yet, but my understanding is it's more challenging. The combat itself requires your attention versus just, build and destroy sort of deal.
Yeah. I thought the aesthetics, like the graphics looked really cool. Like the lightning in particular just looked sick. So, but I hate click to move. I've never played a click to move game. So Path of Exile 1 was. I heard you could do WASD in Path of Exile 2, so that's what kind of piqued my interest in it.
I played all of Diablo 4 with a controller. So I just, plugged a PlayStation controller into the PC and beat the campaign. I can't do click to move either. That's especially in an action setting. That's not my jam.
It wasn't too bad in Baldur's Gate 3 because it was turn based.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So like, click to move for action combat is just way too much coordination requirement for me.
Yeah, and then you're punishing yourself for like making like mouse mistakes, which is just a weird headspace to be in.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, how did you get into content creation then? Because you've been doing it for a while now.
Yeah, my raid channel, the main channel, The Adventures of Adam, it's I think it's like 3 years old, maybe 4 years old. I don't remember exactly, but I got into it covering Hearthstone about 8 years ago,
Nice.
9 years ago maybe. Like my daughter was a baby when I started, and she just turned 9. So, yeah, back then I had a very different. I've grown a lot since those days. So that's why I created a new channel to start covering Raid, because I would go back and watch those old videos when I was like 24, and I was just saying some really disgusting, cringe things for shock value, and I was like, I am not proud of this at all. I don't want to be associated with this anymore. I'm just going to make a new channel. And I went in and like deleted all that crap. I mean, I'm sure that you'd find it with the Wayback Machine if you really wanted to, but there's nothing in there worth watching.
Let's go cancel Adam. Let's go dig up old clips.
I don't know if I actually said anything cancel worthy, but I said some pretty shocking things. I was like, wow, that is disgusting. I can't believe the way I phrased it was, it definitely wasn't making the internet a worse place, but it certainly wasn't making it better.
There you
So
go.
I just took it all down. I was like, I was just young and dumb, saying stupid stuff. and because in my mind I'm thinking this is going to help me grow my channel if I could say really shocking things and get attention. And I at that point in time, my goal was to become a full-time content creator. So I was doing everything I could. Like I was really concerned about view count, and it was like stressed me out, and I just because I was so concerned about view count, I would say and do things to try to
move the needle,
get attention, and it was just really cringe. These days, when I started this new channel, it was never my intention to give a care about view count or anything like that. I was just like, it's kind of I don't know if I've ever told this story in a video. I've told it on stream before, but never like in a video like this. So I'll just go ahead and why not, right? The whole now's my chance.
all 50 viewers will love it.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll be riveted to their seats. So basically, when I was bored, I would go to the Raid Shadow Legends subreddit, and I would just to help pass the time, I would look for posts where people were having trouble, and I would offer them advice. And I noticed a very common theme in like the top number, like it was like the exact same post by different people. Like, how come I'm not progressing? Who do I 6-star next? And it's like everyone who's struggling to progress I would look at the screenshots and I could see how they would have like their starter hero highlighted, and you could see their build down in the corner. And the first thing I would do is look at their hero build. It's like, you have no speed, no accuracy, you have 25% crit rate, and you're stacking attack percentage, or you're all in on crit. Like, their builds are all over the place. And it was every single person who posted, I'm stuck, how do I beat the dragon? Like, well, first of all, you need to learn how to gear properly. So time and time again, post after post, Redditor after Redditor, I was just found myself giving the exact same advice to different people. And it's like, there's got to be a more efficient way to do this. It's like, why don't I just record a video? And then whenever I see a post like this, I'll just link the video. Because I'd done YouTube in the past. I knew how to edit, all that stuff. I was like, this would just be easier. That way I could just copy and paste this video to help people out. So the first two videos were like how to gear your champions and who to 6-star next. And I got a ton of really good reception on those videos. People telling me like, hey, the way you explain this was so intuitive to me, and it made so much more sense compared to how other YouTubers explain it. Thank you. It's made a huge difference. I was like, okay, well, people are clearly enjoying this stuff. I'll just keep doing it. So I just started uploading a new video every week, and that's, my channel kind of blew up. I didn't like explode massively, but like for a small channel in a pre-established content creator ecosystem for a game that had been out for like 3 or 4 years at that time, my channel was doing pretty well. So I stuck with it, man. Like, and then I think the first video that really blew up on my channel was I did a Walking Tomb Dragon 25 solo video, and it was like thousands of views overnight. Like, it blew my mind. That was my first like, holy shit. And then Odd One Gaming posted a video giving that video a shout out, and that was like the first time I was recognized by like an established content creator.
Oh, cool.
And then the next day I woke up to a notification saying that Susie, back when she was going by, what was her old channel name?
Oh, man.
Ivy Lee Gaming.
Ivy, yeah.
Yeah, Ivy Lee Gaming is a new subscriber. That was back, my channel was still small enough that I was still getting subscriber notifications. You don't get those after 1,000 subscribers anymore. Okay. I think I had like 250 subscribers, and that was like, holy cow. So it was Odd One, Susie. I made it, right? That was in my mind, like, I have been recognized by my peers. I'm clearly doing something right. Let's just keep going. And that was like the big confidence booster when, other content creators noticed me. That was like, oh, okay, now we're doing something. Fun. So I just kind of stuck with it,
You talked about Hearthstone kind of being the beginning, and I'm thinking back, and I feel like Hearthstone was the first time I became aware of content creators. I started playing it whenever it came out. Was that 2014, 2015, something like that? And Kriparian was like the very first person that I saw as like covering a game. Everything before that was just like funny, weird YouTube videos.
Yeah.
But I didn't really stick with it. I didn't really pay attention to like a content creator ecosystem until Raid. I would just randomly look up videos for whatever game I was playing. But then when I got to Raid, I started following people and like starting digesting like multiple videos that I didn't need to watch.
I think a big part. I'm exactly the same way. Now that you mention it, it didn't even occur to me. But like, I had a YouTube account, but I didn't go on YouTube regularly to consume content because there just wasn't like Hearthstone was the first. For me, it was Trump.
Oh,
Trump underscore SC, not Donald Trump.
oh, okay. Trump. Oh, right. Big arena player, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
Asian guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like I saw his, I forget what the series was called, but he would make a new account and then free to play from like brand new account to legend. And he would just do that series. And that was that because like and that was what kind of put it into my head like, oh, I can do this. If he could do it free to play, surely I could do it because I was kind of a whale in Hearthstone. Like
Oh,
I was
yeah?
spending like $50 a week on packs every
Oh,
week. It's
wow.
like paycheck comes in, buy a bundle, and just I was crafting like golden cards. I had like my two favorite decks that I crafted all golden. Like I had
Solid
a
gold deck.
I had a golden Dreadsteed deck and a golden Astral Communion deck. Those were like my two, and both of those decks ended up getting nerfed, which
As
that
they
sucked. Which is actually kind of why I quit playing Hearthstone. It's like I invested all this money. I had like $3,000 into my Hearthstone account,
do. Oh, wow.
and then my two favorite decks got nerfed, and they were already not competitive decks. So it's like they were already struggling. Like they were probably like if S tier, A tier, B tier. They're probably C tier decks anyway. Like good enough. Like could a person get to legend with them? Maybe, probably if they worked really hard and they were really good and they never made a mistake. But they weren't like competitive decks that like no one was
Yeah.
playing these decks. But cards that were key components in other decks that also happened to be in my decks were causing problems in the meta. So those cards got nerfed, which just completely just made the decks unplayable. So I was like, okay, well, that sucks.
Yeah. I see what you did there, Blizzard. You got me.
Yeah. So I was like, I kept playing after a while, but it's like, so one day I just logged in. I was like, this game isn't fun anymore. Like I can't even play my
Yeah.
favorite decks. Like, so I just stopped. I just stopped logging in one day. I was like, I think I kept playing because of sunk cost fallacy. Like
Yeah.
I'm not a wealthy man. I'm a blue collar. I work in a factory. My wife doesn't. She stays at home and takes care of the family. Like we're a single income family, and I don't have a lot of money. So $3,000 for me is a lot of freaking money.
Yeah, yeah.
And it was over the course of like 5 years on that account, but still, like it's hard to walk away from that. But ultimately, like I'm not enjoying the game. Like why am I forcing myself to play a game that it's not fun anymore? So I just
Yeah.
one day I guess I'm out. Like I don't know. So, yeah.
The game was boring to me at some amount of time, like probably a year to a year and a half in from when it launched. And then the thing that rejuvenated me was the dungeons, I think, like the PvE campaigns.
I
Where
love
you
those.
would go through and beat everything like Nexramus and all that. That rejuvenated the game for me, and I played more after that. But like one thing that I didn't like about myself with Hearthstone, it's a lot like Magic the Gathering, where when I build a Magic deck, my favorite mode is draft. I like chaos, randomness, all of that. So, and I like an even playing field. But it's like then if you wanted to climb, I would go, big brain and try to create some kind of weird like 9-card OTK combo deck. And that's fun. That's what I like to play, right? And then it's like I can't climb with it, so then I'm playing Face Hunter. And then I'm playing Face Hunter and I'm just like anger playing the game, like you son of a, just smacking people, and it's like this sucks. Like this isn't fun.
Yeah. Yeah, I never hit legend in Hearthstone. I got to rank 2 one time.
Oh,
And
wow.
I did it by playing Pirate Warrior, which was the face hunter of that era.
Is that where they hit each other and they multiply? Was that or
Oh,
no?
that's
That was the
Grim Patron.
Grim Patron. Yeah, sorry,
Yeah.
Pirate Warrior. Okay.
Yeah, so like there was this card called Patches, Patches the Pirate, and whenever you play a pirate, he would get summoned from your deck into the battlefield, and he had charge. You go, I'm in charge now, and then he could. So it was like deck thinning plus an extra 1/1 value on whatever your 1-drop pirate was. So it was like immense value, and it was super aggressive because like not only do you have to kill the Patches that was summoned, but you also have to kill the pirate that was put into play that summoned it. So it's like you're getting 2 for 1, and it's just immense stats for very little mana, and it was just super aggressive and super good. So I played that to like rank 5, and in this meta, I always play wild format by the way too, because That was just my favorite format. So it was like Pirate Warrior, Mid Range Shaman, and Reno Warlock Handlock were like the 3 decks in the meta. And there was like a rock paper scissors.
Oh,
So
okay.
I was playing Pirate Warrior until I hit a wall of like mid range shamans, and mid range shaman was the deck that beat Pirate Warrior. So now I'm in this meta where there's nothing but mid range shaman. So then I switched to Reno Handlock, but you kind of look like Reno Jackson from Hearthstone a little bit. You got the hair and the mustache.
It's the baby the tan shirt.
Yeah, that's probably that belongs in a museum. Sorry. So yeah, then I switched to Handlock Warlock, the Reno Lock deck, because that beat the mid range shaman, and I climbed up to rank 2. And then I started running into other warlocks, so I had to switch back to Pirate Warrior because Pirate Warrior was So it's like you're just constantly. But the season ended before I could hit Legend, but I was on track. I was a little sad that I never did it.
Did you play like actual card games before Hearthstone?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I played Magic for the first time in 2006, I think.
Gotcha.
I think I was a sophomore in high school. Yeah, but yeah, that's when my brother got me into it, and then I played hard. Like, I don't know why this is the path that I chose, but I was really taken by the idea of the legacy format. So I was,
Okay.
as a brand new player with kitchen table Magic scraps, I entered a legacy tournament. So
What were you playing?
to put things into perspective for people who may not know Magic, that would be like taking a water pistol and trying to fight like a machine gun. Like, that's basically what happened. And what is so funny? Okay, I was at the Magic shop buying cards for my mono green deck, and someone said, "Hey, there's a legacy tournament this weekend. You should come by and play." And in my head, I was thinking like, because at the kitchen table Magic where I play with my homies with unsleeved cards, riffle shuffling our, holding it together with the rubber bands,
Destroying things.
with our $5 decks. In that world, I was the king. So in my head, I'm like, I'm going to come into this tournament and I'm going to wipe the floor with these noobs, right? That was the most humbling experience of my life. Like, to put, okay, so I still remember the deck. It was a mono green deck, and I had like 4 copies of Lone Wolf, which is a 3 mana 2/2. But when it attacks, you may have it assign as combat damage to the opposing player as though it weren't blocked. So it's good at getting damage through, but 3
Terrible
mana for a
value.
2/2, it sucks. And then there was a card called Pride of Lions, which was a 4 mana something. It's basically the same effect as Lone Wolf, but stats to mana value was really bad. Or it might have even been like a 5 mana 4/4, something like that. Like, it was not good. And then there was Rocks, which was a 6 mana 5/5 that had the same effect. But Rocks had Regenerate, so it was kind of like next level. It was probably the best card on my deck, to be fair. And then Thorn Elemental, which was a 7 mana 7/7.
These are
and it had the
draft
same
bombs.
effect.
You're playing in a legacy tournament with draft
I'm playing
bombs.
just booster chaff, basically. Yeah. So Thorn Elemental was like my finisher. But I didn't know how to build the deck. So I have like these 7-drop creatures in my deck at the high end of my curve, but I'm playing like 20 lands. So I'm like getting mana screwed every game and getting frustrated, like blaming it on bad luck, but really I needed like 4 or 5 more lands probably, and maybe even some mana ramp. But I didn't have any mana ramp. I'm just playing like 1 land every 2 turns because I'm not drawing lands, and I was bad. I was a bad player. That's just what it was. I thought I was great because I owned the kitchen table, but I'm going into playing against these. I got my $5 deck playing against someone with like a $3,000 deck and just getting annihilated, right? So it's
channel
like,
fireballed on like every
yeah,
hand.
I think Countertop was, and like Mono Red Creatureless Burn were like the 2 meta decks that was at my local game store. So if you don't know what Countertop is, like, you have this card called Counterbalance. It's a 2 mana enchantment, and every time your opponent casts a spell, it triggers and you reveal the top card of your deck. And if that revealed card has the same mana cost as your opponent, you counter that spell for free, basically. But then there's another card you combine with it called Sensei's Divining Top, which lets you pay a mana to look at the top 3 cards of your library. So your opponent casts a spell, Counterbalance triggers. In response to the trigger, you activate top, look at the top 3, find one that has the same converted mana cost as your opponent's spell, put that one on top, reveal it, and counter their spell for 1. Like, you basically, it's a very oppressive control deck. And then when I saw that in action, I was like, this game is so much more complicated and advanced and deep than I ever imagined. And it made, even though I got completely annihilated, it made me fall in love with the game because it showed me what this game could do. So I've been a huge fan of Magic. I don't play anymore, but I still watch LSV do vintage cube drafts every day.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so it's like the vintage cube is a lot easier for me to follow because it's basically the same. They get updates every couple months, but it's not huge sweeping overhauls.
Yeah, you're not getting
like I don't
10
have to
new
learn all
abilities
the new
every
cards.
quarter.
Yeah, it's they add like 3 or 4 cards every couple months, and it's like I can keep track of it without memorizing every card that comes out in the newest sets. So yeah, I love Magic. I still follow it in that sense, but I haven't actually played Magic in years. But I still love it.
Yeah, I mean, I've gone in and out of my Magic phase so many times now, and what always kicks it back into gear is like we get a group of people together and we buy a box, and then I just want to keep playing the deck that I built from the draft. But the two like constructed decks that I remember were, I think it was Jund Cascade, which had the Blood Braid Elf or whatever, and so you're just like flipping cards, you know, cascade into this, and that was fun. But my favorite that I ever built was Valakut Ramp, which is the one where you pull the lands out and every land is a lightning bolt, and you're just like thinning your deck doing lightning bolts until you get to one of your titans, and usually you've won the game by then. But those two were like my play tests, so I kept them built forever, and every deck after that I was like, can it beat Cascade Jund and Valakut Ramp? Because if it can't, I feel like it's not any good.
Yeah. Did you ever play Magic Arena when it came out?
Hearthstone had such a nice, clean UI, but the first Magic the Gathering online, it might have been called that, MtGO, that came out. The UI was just terrible. The interactions to like get cards on the screen and like know what your deck was and everything just looked weird. It didn't feel good, and that's why like I was so impressed with Hearthstone. Because at first I thought Hearthstone was ultra simplistic. When I first played it, I was like, it's kind of stupid. Like it's Blizzard's attempt to like cash in on Magic, but they very quickly like got complicated with it, and then they got a little too RNG heavy, you know, as everybody will attest to. But that was the problem with MTGO for me, was that the user interface just wasn't clean and fast.
Yeah, it's still kind of like that. That's where I watch LSV play Magic Online.
Okay.
It takes a lot to get used to, especially after playing Hearthstone for so long.
Yeah,
Man, I think you talking about Hearthstone again. It's like I remember on the first day, on the 7th pack that I opened, I got Lord Jiraxis.
Oh, nice.
So I was like, I guess I'm playing Warlock, right?
Yeah.
And then so I built like this Warlock control deck. It's so much fun. But then, like as you said, as time went on, it just got more and more crazy with RNG, and I don't want to say there's no skill in the game, but it takes a different kind of skill. Where it used to be, if you knew the cards in the game and you knew the meta, you could make judgment calls based on what your opponent is likely to have and play around it. And that was a big part of the skill in the early days of Hearthstone. Now it's like, oh, well, he just discovered a card that discovered a card that discovered a card. He's had 3 random cards.
No idea.
It's impossible to play around. So
what
now
hero
it's about
he's even playing now.
Yeah, it's about like reacting to the randomness, which there's still skill in that. It's just not what it feels less strategic. And the reason I get into games like this is for the strategy.
Yeah.
But there just feels like there's a less strategy in that style of gameplay. So I just kind of fell out of love with it. And then all my favorite decks got nerfed, so.
Yeah, that'll do it to you. Well, draft is still fun. And then I was talking to Sneaky, I think, and he was super into, everybody calls it Commander now. I still call it EDH. Good party game.
Yeah. I'm actually partially responsible for the EDH scene at my local game store back in the day.
Yeah?
No one was playing it. I thought it was because I had a history in Legacy, I had all these retro cards that I couldn't use in Modern or Standard. So it's like, well, no one in the Legacy scene died when Modern came out. At least in my town, everyone stopped playing Legacy when Modern came out. So I just had all these dead cards, and I was like, well, I got to do something with them. Like I spent hundreds on them. I don't want to sell them because they're going up in value year after year. So I was like, let me see if I can get some people. So we started with a group of 3 people playing EDH. And every now and then someone would come into the shop and we'd invite them and have a spare deck, you know, like And eventually, the next week it was 5 people. The next week it was 7 people, and then it was 8. And then we had 2 pods going, right? And then slowly over time, it just built up and built up. And then EDH popped off lately, and it's like,
What's the biggest EDH game you've played? Like more than 8 people?
I think 5 is the
Okay.
biggest. Once it gets to like you start to get into like 6 and up, we try to break it into 2 separate pods, so you don't have to wait like 10 minutes for your turn.
Yeah, it takes forever to come back around.
Yeah, it's like D&D. You know, if you get too many people in the group, then it's like, you know, yeah.
Yeah, I guess gotchas have the same kind of concept because you pop for heroes, same thing as pulling cards. Maybe that's why I got into gotchas. Maybe that's why Star Wars was the first one to capture me because it was that pulling. But it was either Sneaky or Ragewood that I was saying I got into Star Wars really because it reminded me of Final Fantasy because it was like a phone game with a turn-based battle system, and then that started me off on my trail into Raid. Ultimately, I resisted Raid for a long time. I thought it was going to be just like a money grab, like some kind of Korean nonsense because of all their advertisements that were so ridiculous, like men over 40 love this game, and it's not even an image from the game. But when I finally tried it, I was like, oh, wow, this game's great. And then, here we are, Godforge later.
Yeah. For me, the year was 2019. Classic World of Warcraft had just come out. And I wanted to play that nonstop, but, I got a job, a wife, daughter. Couldn't. I mean, I was playing on the weekends when I could, but, like, if you've ever played an MMO, you know that, like, when you fall behind, you fall behind.
Mm-hmm.
So I realized that MMOs just weren't in the cards for me. And then COVID-19 hit in 2020. And it was like, I was like, finally, I have a chance to play WoW. I could play all day, right? I have nothing. I'm my work is shut down for the next 3 months. Like, what else am I gonna do? But at the time, my daughter just turned 3, and I know me, and I knew that if I was playing WoW, going hard in the paint, getting sweaty like I do, and little old Quinn walks up behind me, Daddy, like, not now, sweetie, I'm playing. Like I can't help myself. So I was like, I can't be that dad. I can't play, but I need something to do. So I got on the App Store and I just searched for mobile RPG, and Raid Shadow Legends was the first one that came up. So like, all right, let's give this a try. So I downloaded it. I was like, this game is sick. It was turn-based. It's single player, so I could pause it if my daughter or my wife needed me. Like, hey, sweetie, can you go do the dishes? Yeah, sure, pause it. Or I could hit auto, set it down, and like, it was the perfect solution. As I'm playing it, I'm like, I could play this shit at work. It's like, I worked on an assembly line, and I have like 3 to 5 seconds at the time, the job that I was on. I'd finish the assembly, and then I'd have like 3 to 5 seconds before the next one would come into my zone. So like, I could hit auto, do my thing, come back, sell the piece of gear, hit replay, start doing the next one. And like, it was giving me something to focus on while amidst my mindless labor. Exactly. Yeah. It was just perfect. It fit perfectly into my life. And it was a blessing. Cause like I'm the type of person who is like all or nothing. Like, if I'm going to do something, I'm going to give it 100%. And if I can't give 100% of myself to it, I lose interest. So the fact that I could play Raid at home, at work, I could play it while I'm taking my daughter to the park, like all that shit. Like, I didn't have to choose between being a father and being a gamer. I got to be both. And to me, that was like something special. So and then, Plarium did what Plarium does. And in my opinion, the game has kind of gone downhill over time, but, yeah, I'm grateful for the fun times I had.
There you go. I think, maybe we're getting off topic when I say this, but that sentiment seems to be missing in the world in general, is that people have some negative thing happen with some person or game or musician or movie or something in their lives, right? And then the focal point moving forward is the negative, and there's no look back and appreciation for the time when it was valuable. And I've been trying to like mix that into my gratitude, is like looking back and thinking, man, the amount of time that I got value out of something or someone or a band or something like that was really important, and it shouldn't just focus on like the one moment where it all fell apart.
Yeah, that's definitely not the mentality I would have had when I was making Hearthstone content. I have gotten older and wiser, but yeah, I generally try to stay positive. Totally, like I've just just become more mature. I'm 36 now, not 24. There's a huge difference in that. Like I got gray in my beard coming in.
Oh, there
Like
you go. There you go.
yeah, that's the wisdom coming through.
Yeah, I saw too. If you look back at like your channel, you have like big beard to like shaved to big beard
Yeah.
again. Like, how did you make the decision to lop it and then grow it back out?
Well, as you can see, my beard is very curly and frizzy and fluffy. And in the early days, like when I first started my channel, I didn't show my face in my videos.
Yeah.
I'm a very self-conscious person by nature. I just have very low self-esteem. It's difficult. The last thing I wanted to do was put my face out there. I also have a unibrow, so if I don't shave it like once every 2 weeks, it'll start to connect, and that's it's actually, you can kind of see it coming through. I haven't shaved it in a week, and it's starting to come in a little bit.
You're giving away the game. It looks really
Yeah,
good right now.
yeah, whatever. Anyway, I was just self-conscious, and then when I think about a year into my content creation, I decided to finally show my face. It was my first, I think it was in a live stream, because it just made more sense to put my face in a live stream. Like my videos were all educational, and I never wanted my videos to be about me. I wanted them to be about the lesson I was trying to teach with the video. This is how you do it. My face doesn't need to be there. But for the live stream, I'm interacting with the audience. You know, it's more of a social back and forth. They're asking me questions, I'm answering. We're having a casual conversation. So it just made sense to put my face up for live streams. And then after that, once I had gotten used to putting my face out there, then I started adding my face to my videos. But at the time, the last time I grew out my beard really long, I didn't really take care of it the way it needed to be taken care of. If you've never grown out a beard before, it takes a lot of upkeep, especially if you're frizzy and curly like mine. Like this time around, I've been washing it and conditioning it and putting oil in it and brushing it and just like really, really nurturing it so it grows in nicely. The old beard, not so much. And it just kind of looked, it just didn't look good in my opinion. I was, again, just very self-conscious about it. And I wanted to just trim it down. So I trimmed it down to just a goatee, like a long goatee that I would braid. And I thought that looked good. I was happy with that for a while. But then as I would try to trim it and maintain it, I would snick a little off from the sides every time, and it got narrower and narrower, and finally just started looking like a little rat tail. I was like, okay, I got to get rid of that. So I cut that off, and I was like, all right, I'm done with the beard for a while. But then I started reminiscing about having a beard, and I just decided to start growing it out again.
It's looking good. I can also tell if you went for the mustache that you would have like a ridiculous mustache. You can probably do all the crazy twirls.
That might be my end game. Like,
yeah.
As a long-time World of Warcraft player, I've always liked the big bushy gnome. Yeah, they got the big bushy beard and then the mustache that comes out. I've never been able to have the self-discipline to maintain a mustache before. I've always trimmed it. Even when my beard was long, I would trim the mustache short. I could see you're a fellow mustache connoisseur.
Well, I'm learning. I do still trim all of this because I let it grow and I try to curl it, and my hair does not want to obey me. This takes a tremendous amount of wax. And if I go through that phase where I then try to train it sideways, it's just coming in and poking my lip. And like that feeling drives me crazy.
Yeah. I was this close to cutting it. I went through a phase where like I wasn't making content. There was like a content drop. I do that sometimes. I'll go through a wave of depression for about 2 or 3 weeks where I just don't want to make videos. I just get real, go into my shell. I don't want to be seen. I don't feel like talking about anything. I don't want to make video. So because I wasn't making content, I didn't feel the urge to groom, I guess, since I wasn't being seen on a large scale. And I work in a factory, so no one really cares what I look like. I don't need to have a professional appearance at work, so there's like literally no dress code. It's just, it's whatever. So I just let my mustache get longer, and then one day I was like, it was bugging me because it was like, it got to a point where like I couldn't eat food without my getting whatever I was eating in my mustache. So I just grabbed an old toothbrush and I started brushing it aside while it was wet, like that, and it just stayed. I was like, oh, okay. So that's just, I just brush it to the sides, apart it, and brush it with a toothbrush, and it just stays like this when it dries. It's
I
been
need
working
to
for me. So
I need to learn the tricks. I had like a thing of balm for the longest time, and I just didn't know how to use it because I can't really grow a beard. Like beards don't work on me. The mustache kind of works, but I can't connect it, and my beard's really patchy. So I never used the balm in a beard. So when I finally started going for the mustache, I was like, I'm going to see what this does. And like if I'm not using wax, I try to keep the balm in there, and that makes it a little easier to comb and deal with.
yeah, sometimes when I brush it aside, I'll get like a random stray that just goes right up my nostril, like it curves and goes straight into my nose, and I'm like, yeah. So I gotta watch out for that. But
Now, the Adventures of Adam logo that's kind of behind you, was there any inspiration from Adventure Time? Because I feel like the
yes,
sword looks a
that's
little
exactly.
okay.
Yeah, I was brainstorming channel names. I was gonna do like, um, I don't even remember, something about like guides in gaming, just so it would be more broad. And I was like, why don't I just Adventures of Adam? I wanted something with my name in it. I really like alliteration. And because the focus was moving away from Raid and into other games, and I really like RPGs, I thought like something like just adventures. Because I know whatever I'm doing, I'm gonna be playing an RPG. So Adventures of Adam makes sense. It was kind of to bring the focus away from Raid and more to me. So these are my adventures as I continue my YouTube journey. So in the beginning, I didn't want any of my videos to be about me. I wanted it to be about the content. Like, this is how you gear your
Interesting.
champions. This is how you beat. Like, it was very factual and objective. I didn't put
Yeah.
my personality into it that much. I just wanted it to be like, because again, I'm very self-conscious. I didn't want the attention to be on me. It was all about the content. My focus was make the best content I can make. And, so I didn't even put my face in the videos in the beginning. But as my personality as I started live streaming and I started to have a more personal connection with my audience, and I found that people liked me, not just my content. Like we were have fun conversations and live streams. I was like, it's time to come out of the shadows, right? I was gonna say come out of the closet, but that's a totally different. Coming out of the shadows and be at the forefront of my content. This is my YouTube channel. It's called YouTube because it's about you, right?
Ooh,
It's your channel. It's YouTube. So why not make it about me? And
I feel like
put more of my
that wisdom is 15 years old and we forgot about it.
yeah. So I just I didn't want, because when I'll use Hell Hades as an example because I feel like that's someone who everybody knows. When he's talking to doing collabs, it's like, oh, do I call you Simon or Hell Hades? There's always that awkward moment where like, what do I
Which
call
one
you?
are you today?
If I just go by Adam, there's no confusion, right? Except there was, because you.
Well, I didn't. I mean, everybody's got cyberpunk names these days. Like I'm Snow Crash XX57, and like you're just Adam.
I just thought it'd be simple,
Stands out quite well in Discord too. Like
yeah,
just somebody's name. Well, and I don't know. Do I call Brandon JKG or JKG Brandon? I don't know which one.
His channel was always JKG Brandon, so I would call him Brandon because his name was at like the suffix of the, But now I think he just goes by JKG Plays or something. So I still call him Brandon. I just got used to calling him Brandon, and I know his name is Brandon, so I just call him Brandon.
Brandon's the easy way out.
Yeah, like I know Ragewood's name is Pete, but if I address him as Pete, the audience might not know that it's Pete. So like, who the hell is he talking to? So I just say, I know that his name is Pete, but when we're doing a collab, I'll call him Ragewood because I know that's what the audience knows him by. So,
Well, I didn't know Hell Hades' name for 3 years until he started Fateless, and then at the first time he did his standard intro, and then Simon instead of Hell Hades.
It's like record scratch, like what?
Yeah. Wait, what? And I guess he does have to kind of keep the brands separate. I feel like there's always like this funny little trepidation on videos with all of them, where it's like if you've got Fateless people in the video or even in a conversation, you're like, can I say the words Raid Shadow Legends? Like, is that even? Are we all going to get copyright struck for this?
Yeah.
And then the other one is like, if you're talking about Fateless, can you call him Hell Hades? If you're talking about Raid, can you call him Simon? These like weird little like meaningless
Yeah.
thoughts?
I use them interchangeably. It depends on the situation. Like when I had Simon on Podforge, I introduced him as Hell Hades at the intro, just so people would, this is Hell Hades. But I believe when I was addressing him directly, I would call him Simon. Just, I don't know. It just depends on the situation, I think. But if I just figured if I could just go by Adam, then there's always Adam. You know, and that's why I didn't make my Discord name The Adventures of Adam. I just made it Adam because I feel like that's more personal and more I don't know, just more personable. Because if you didn't know I was a YouTuber, you would just see Adam. You're like, oh, that's just a guy named Adam.
Yeah.
But if I put in The Adventures of Adam _ YouTube, then it's like, who's this guy promoting it? I just wanted to be low key, you know. I just wanted to seem more approachable and more personable. And I don't know. I'm generally not a fan of like blatant self promotion. There's a time and place for it.
Sure.
But I just wanted to be low key. I didn't want I didn't want to seem desperate for people's attention by putting my channel name and my Discord name.
Yeah.
So
I feel like we probably have a lot of the same thoughts. Like there's a lot of times where whatever I'm doing, I don't necessarily want it to be about me. I want it to be about the work or the topic or something like that. In my, regular normal job, I try to be that way where it's like, I want the thing to come together and coalesce with these people. And then I back out and it had nothing to do with me. And in content, staying humble and showing some humility, I think is important. But at the same time, it's a tough juxtaposition because like I was saying to Sage, especially in this like age of AI, I'm calling this era that we are finding ourselves in now, like the age of authenticity and the era of authenticity. And you can't be authentic without being genuine, being yourself, being a person that people want to come back to interact with, to digest content from. Because now at this point, if all you want is the information, even though it's always been widely available, like anybody can do information now. You can just get the AI to write you the script with the knowledge and insight, and then just read it like a robot. So then it can't just be about that anymore. I think it has to be about the human and the trust between the viewer.
I'm not going to mention anyone in particular by names, but I do know there are some content creators who do it that way, and it just at that point, like again, it's what I was saying earlier. It's YouTube. It's people don't come to YouTube to read to because they want AI nonsense. They want to see people. They want to see personalities. Put as much of yourself into your content as you can. Like that's always the way that I've done. It's kind of an off tangent, but I have looked at building my channel the same way that I would approach playing an old school RPG, and it's kind of all about progression. Like you get to these milestones, like you just hit 50 subscribers, or you hit 100 subscribers, or whatever. Like subscriber count is one thing, then you got like, oh, I just had this huge breakthrough with making thumbnails. Like my thumbnail game just leveled up. Like I'm so much better at it now than I used to be. And then maybe another 6 months later goes by, you discover a new platform to make your thumbnails on, or you have this like epiphany moment, like, oh, if I did this, it would, and then your thumbnails level up again, and like, oh, like now I'm really good at writing descriptions for my videos, where maybe I wasn't before, and like you just put in this work and you advance. And it feels good to like see yourself get better. So I'm very much of the mindset that I like to do as much of this by myself as I can. Like unfortunately, Chloe is no longer on the Fateless team. I guess the company she works for parted ways with Fateless, so she's not around anymore.
Is this a leak? This was not information I was aware of.
I don't know if they made like a public announcement, but it's not. I don't think it's private info.
Oh, okay.
If somebody said, "Where's Chloe?" I don't know. Anyway, I don't know why. If the why might be, but I don't know why. So I'm not gonna. It's none of my business. I didn't ask. It just is. It simply is. Where was it? Oh, she offered me some assistance with my Podforge logo, and I was like, and it's really kind of you, and I appreciate that, but I really like the logo I made myself because I made it myself. It's like I want my channel to be as much of me as it can be. So like I'm vehemently opposed to using AI in my content. Like
Yeah.
like when I make thumbnails, I use a website called Canva, and they have like a background remover, and it's powered by AI, so it'll remove the background and just leave. So like I do that, but it's not like generative AI,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
Like it's not like creating something outside of my brain. It's like I'm taking art assets, just removing the background, and then going from there, right? So I don't know. Like I'm not hating on anyone who wants to use AI. Like it's a powerful tool and it can really level up your game, but like at what point is like why would someone choose your content over someone else's if you're not putting yourself into it?
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Like again,
Yeah.
it's YouTube, not AI tube. I know. I just like to put as much as myself into it as I can.
Well, and the trust and the authenticity, I feel like, take it outside of gaming. And there's a YouTube channel that I've been watching for a long time called TFL for like car reviews. And I think it means like the fast lane. And they have like 6 different channels, but there's a whole cast of characters that's like part of TFL. And when a car comes out, there's a million different YouTube channels that you can go to get information about the car. And ever since AI started, being more of a thing, even going back to just like good voice bots that would read a script and not sound like Stephen Hawking. And that's not even 2025, right? That's been a while. But
Yeah.
you would get these videos that would pop up, like if you search, Mazda CX, whatever. These videos would pop up, and they were slop before there was AI slop, where it's just like stock footage that somebody cut together, like got a car and driver article literally, and then had the AI voice bot read it. And there's just hundreds of those. And yeah, you're listening to a car and driver article, which has lots of insights, but like, I don't want that. I don't care about that. I will always go to TFL, and like, I want to see Andre, and I want to get Andre's take, and I want to hear what he has to say about it, or I want to see what Roman has to say, or Roman's kids. Like, those people are who I trust to talk about cars, even though I can just go get the information from an article.
Yeah. And I think this actually kind of circles back to something you were saying earlier. You mentioned that you didn't really start following content creation until you got into Raid.
Yeah.
Raid Shadow Legends is a game filled with extremely deep mechanics, and it requires a lot of knowledge and insight to be good at. So it's actually the perfect venue for something like YouTube, where you can go on and learn. And because you have to do it so often, you get accustomed to you build that trust. Like, oh, this is a content creator I've seen before. They had a really good take about this subject. Let's see what they think about the new fusion. I want to get their opinion. Should I spend my resources or not? And you have like this collective of people who you've come to rely on. It's again, it's like you if you were to go to Google and use their AI or ChatGPT and ask, should I go for this new fusion? The way that those AI sources would build their opinion is by looking at the YouTuber's opinion, because they're the ones talking about it. That's where the AI is getting their information, and it's just like an amalgamation of all those things. So why not just go to the source and get that same information with more context onto how that opinion was formed. So you don't always get the context with AI. You might get a quick yes or no, but it doesn't understand the nuance of how that opinion was formed, because ChatGPT doesn't understand that in order to beat Bommel, you need 500 resistance on your team, and so when you put accuracy down on Bommel, it's really good. So now you only need 250 accuracy, and if you have increased accuracy buff, then all these things, like, ChatGPT doesn't understand that nuance. It knows the facts that it reads on an article, but it doesn't have the ability to fully contextualize it the way a content creator can. So it's like, why would you even want to watch a YouTuber whose script is written by AI?
Well, and it's
all they're doing
physically,
is
it's sorry.
no. Go ahead.
It's physically unable to crap all over Plarium as well. So like, that piece of the video is missing.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's just information without context is bad information. Like you need the full context that only a person who really knows and understands can give. It's just there's so much nuance to these subtleties of a hero's kit and where it is or is not good. And the only way AI could understand that is if it pulled that information from a different content creator, because that's where they're training their information. So it's like, I don't know. I mean, it's a shortcut, I guess, but like you're still not getting the full context. And then, to me, context is everything.
I'm curious to see where we go with Sora now, because I remember when like the music generation really kicked off, and there was who was the guy? He started out with album covers that he made that were like ironic, weird album covers that aren't real. And then when the AI music came out, he started like making the songs of the album covers that he had already made, and they're hilarious. Like you can't say any of them on a clean podcast. They're all awful, terrible songs. But I glued my blank to my blank again. If you if you Google that, you'll find it. But it was like when that came out, it was hilarious. I listened to a bunch of it and I thought it was hilarious. And within like a week or two, it was like copycat, 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 and then everybody was doing it. And it's like right now we're in that honeymoon phase with Sora, where all the generated videos are like hilarious and crazy, and we've never seen anything like it before. And like 6 months from now, we're just gonna be like so over it, like so tired of the same Sora video of like cats in space fighting off the dog empire or something,
Yeah, yeah. It's a neat novelty, and I think like what you're saying. The way it's being used now is certainly a fad, but I think people who are in the creative industry, they have the skills to use it as a powerful tool to elevate their own creations. And I think that's when AI is at its best, when it's in the hands of an artist who knows how to use it as a tool to help them elevate their content.
Yeah, and
it's one thing.
Up.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
The task that you
the workflow
mentioned specifically, like man, that takes an hour sometimes out of pixel
that's exactly right. When I first got into YouTube, if you go to my channel, hit videos and sort by oldest, if you look at my second video's thumbnail, I think it had Haikatoon in it, and I removed the background in Microsoft Paint pixel by pixel going around the border, and it took me an hour to cut her out. Now I could just go into Canva and click a single button. It's not doing anything I couldn't do. It's just doing it in 5 seconds instead of an hour.
Yeah.
It saves me so much time. Like, so that's the difference, right? Like, the difference is, do I use AI to create my content for me, or do I use AI to elevate the content that I'm currently making? And if you can get more to this side and stay away from this side, I think it's perfectly fine. And but unfortunately, there's a lot of people over here, in my opinion, and not enough people on this side. And there might be a few people, who are learning and maybe working their way over, and that's fine too, But like, if you're just like, hey, ChatGPT, write me a script, thank you, and then there's no you in that. And then now it's not YouTube anymore. It's ChatGPT tube.
Yeah,
I don't know. That's how I feel about it.
And it's hard to read a script, especially if you haven't memorized it. It's hard to read a script as you being natural. Like, it's really hard for anybody who's tried to do a voiceover and you're reading the script. Like, you just don't sound like yourself off the cuff.
Yeah. I have dyslexia, so reading out loud is something I've always struggled with, because I could hear myself reading it, and then I get self-conscious and get inside my head, and then it's just like this endless feedback loop. Like, the more I start to notice it, the worse it gets. So like, I'll have to like memorize a single line, record that line, stop, memorize the next line, and just go one line at it when I'm doing voiceovers. Like, my videos, like my video that I released during the Godforge alpha, like how to gear your champions or gear like a god or whatever, probably spent 4 hours making an 8-minute video.
Just because audio clips.
And then putting scenes on the screen that aligned with my voiceover. Like, that probably wasn't the most efficient like workflow. Like, I wrote the script, I read the script, recorded myself reading it. I was like, oh, I can't just be me reading a script. That's a boring video. I need visual things to break up the monotony of just my monotone voice reading this script. So it's like, okay, well, talking about this right now, Like right now, I'm talking about the way turn meter and divinity meters function. So I'll put a visual illustration of this on the screen while I'm talking about that. Well, now I'm talking about what main stat you want in each slot. So I'll show examples of those pieces of gear on the screen, and just cutting and recording and just, I mean, yeah, it took me a long time to make that video, but I was very proud of it and I'm very happy with it. And unless gearing drastically changes, I'll probably, keep it on my channel. If they overhaul gearing, I'll take it down and make a new one. But
There you go.
It's gonna work for now. I think it's still a good video and I'm very proud of it.
Well, in terms of content, how did you decide to create the like official Godforge podcast? And like what is the future of Podforge as we get closer to release?
My original goal for it was maybe like once a month or whenever there's a big update, like balance changes or whatever, call up some of the boys and we'll give our opinions on like what's this new fusion, where do we think they're good, where do we think they're bad, is it worth it overall, get multiple people's opinions about the same topic, because maybe you might have a different take than I did and you say something like, oh, that's a really good point, I never thought of it like that, oh, now that you say that, maybe this thing could work too, right? So like it's like a collaborative brainstorming. And then like whenever there's a balance update to heroes, like how does this affect PvP, how does this affect PvE, what's the meta like, how do you play into the meta, how do you counter the meta in the normalized PvP modes and stuff, like what's good this month, what's bad this month, like just stuff like that. Just like whenever there's an update, bring the boys together, have a chat, talk about the game. Like that was my original goal, and I just didn't want to wait to do it until we were actually have the game to play. So I just started interviewing people about knocking my microphone off the desk. Just started asking people about their alpha experiences, and that's because what inspired it was back in the early days of Raid, Hell Hades, Stu Gaming, Bionic, BGE, like they would do a podcast like once a month and just talk about Raid. And I was like, this is so cool. And it's really hard to coordinate the schedules of multiple people, especially with me. My schedule sucks, as you learned. Like it's it's hard to nail me down at a time
it's
that
3
works.
3 o'clock in the morning right now. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, like I don't know. So that's what inspired it. Like I thought that was like the coolest content. And the number one thing you should always do as a content creator is make the type of content that you want to see. And for me, it was I want to see a community-driven podcast about Godforge. Well, no one else was making one, so I just made it myself.
Nice.
So that's the content I wanted to see, so I'll make it.
I think I listened to a Hearthstone podcast back in the day, and I'm getting them confused. I don't know if it was a Hearthstone or a Raid, but I remember the video layout would be like 3 to 4 people in boxes. That was the first time I had seen like a podcast on YouTube. But I have listened to 3 different game podcasts over time: Hearthstone, Raid, and what was the other one? I can't remember, but yeah, 3 different gaming podcasts, which is not the majority of podcasting normally that I listen to. But yeah, every game needs one, right? People digesting content on the go in the car, quite a bit safer to listen to a podcast than to watch a YouTube video.
Yeah. Don't watch it. Man, speaking of which, I had this one guy like typing in my live stream chat. He was like, "Hey, he said, hey," I was like, "Hey, what's going on, man?" He was like, "Oh, I'm just watching you on the drive home." I was like,
Yeah.
"Put the phone down, stop it! Why are you doing this? Don't drag me into that." Yeah, I don't know. I was like, Jesus.
I am that person. I took I had J-Gig's birthday stream on my laptop, and I had to go somewhere, and I was in the middle of typing something, and I like needed to leave, and I was like, "Hang on, taking you to the car." Swapped over to the iPhone, put it up on the infotainment, and then like 5 minutes into the drive, I was like, I don't think I can engage with this stream anymore.
Yeah, like sometimes I'll listen to a live stream because good live streamers are really good about giving commentary, talking about what they're doing, engaging. Like, so sometimes it's just entertaining to listen to. But like, I if it was like a really intense PvP situation where like where you want to see the action, I couldn't watch anything like that. But yeah.
Well, Podforge kind of exploded. I feel like you came out the gate swinging with just really great guests. It looked like
thank you.
Rage back-to-back episodes, and then you ended up with Simon like by episode 5, was it?
I'm not sure. I think so. Maybe 5 or 6.
5 or 6, yeah.
Ragewood and I have become very good friends. I feel like
good.
I don't want to speak for him, but he and I were among the first Godforge content creators. It was like me, Ragewood, Mr. Sneaky, and Zox we were like the 4 early content creators. Like my first Godforge video came out over a year ago. So I've been covering the game for a really long time. And us 4 were the only 4 hanging out in the content creator chat. And we were talking together amongst ourselves. We just vibing really well. So like Rage and I have, in my opinion, I feel like we've bonded really well. So he was an obvious choice for my Podforge episode 1, because not only do we get along really well and we have good chemistry, but like he has an eye for detail like no one else. Like I really admire and respect him as a content creator. He's not, I mean, once the alpha came out, his channel exploded. But like before the alpha, he was just a little guy. But I didn't care that he didn't have a ton of viewers. I could see the potential in his channel. So I wanted to do everything I could to help lift him up, because I saw, like, I think that mentality has kind of spread amongst all the other content creators in the Godforge.
You set the tone.
Well, I don't want to take credit for it solely, but I've certainly played a role, like giving each other advice, just helping each other out, just setting the tone from the get-go. So whenever a new content creator comes in, they're entering a positive atmosphere of just helpfulness, mindfulness, communication, and just... It's cool. Like, why wouldn't you want to be a part of a positive community?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Like, I just... That's what I wanted for the Godforge content creator ecosystem. Just mindfulness and helpfulness and thoughtfulness. Collaborations.
Yeah. Well, and you do multiple people on your podcast too, like you mentioned earlier, for the different takes. But that one with Simon is really good. You and Charlemagne, Charlemagne is very astute, very thoughtful questions. Mm-hmm. I think the way that he's kind of a high level strategic mind, the way that I see his content. So the two of y'all with Simon, that's a really valuable episode. Like Simon also, like, I think drops a lot in that episode. I think he just like says a bunch of stuff that I don't know if he was planning to. I don't know if Dan and Sham were like, what are you doing?
I would ask him a question, and he'd answer the question, and then he would just keep going and going. I was like, wait, hold on, stop. What did you just say? Like,
you can
roll
watch
back.
Your face. Like
I didn't want to interrupt because he was on a roll, but like, yeah, I'm like making mental notes to like circle back to that, let him keep going, and then like, okay, that's awesome, but 2 minutes ago you said this. Can we touch on that real quick?
He said some stuff in there, and it was a month or two ago, before, quote unquote leaks came out, where he really just said it, on your podcast, I think. Yeah, like
that's where we heard about the browser game for the first time.
Yeah, browser-based game.
Yeah, he said at that point in time, he said it'll be coming in a couple weeks. And it's been a couple months now. Yeah. Well, that was a lie. Yeah, no, I think they're probably just polishing it up and making it look nice, getting it to the level of quality that they would want us, So far, I think they're just trying to get it up to snuff. They want it to run well, and I'm sure they've got something cool planned for it. So hopefully we'll hear more about it on Tuesday. Simon asked what we'd like to see in Tuesday's video, and myself, Zavarok, and someone else, I forget, mentioned the browser game, and he gave a thumbs up to my comment asking about the browser game. So fingers crossed that we'll hear more about it and get an update. Even if it's not coming soon, at least getting, like, knowing what to expect.
Yeah.
Like, I've been waiting, like, it's been so long since the alpha. I'm itching to get my hands on something.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even care what it is at this point. Like, I want to engage with Godforge.
Well, in the timing when this episode drops, that will have already happened. So people can, look back into the past and say, oh, they were right or they were wrong.
Adam the Oracle has spoken.
What if, man, I just had this thought, and it's not true, but what if this was all a giant troll and it wasn't a hero collector gacha, and it was like some new genre we've never played, or a MOBA or something like that? And they spent all this time like leaking and talking about things that didn't happen, like the browser game. And then the game comes out and it's like a straight RPG.
Man, I would love... I know that Fateless doesn't want to be a one-game studio.
Yeah.
So like, where do they go after Hero Collector RPG? In my opinion, oh, you go ahead. Go ahead.
Well,
I want to hear what you, I wanna hear what you think.
I've really thought about this because honestly, Raid, like Plarium is such a freaking stupid company. Like if I can just like stop for a moment, and it's not
You don't
even
have
the
to convince
abuse,
me.
right? It's not even the abuse that all the players went through, but like they're sitting on a gold mine of opportunity that they don't act on. They spend all their budget on marketing because they have this like marketing funnel that is the way that they make money, right? But if they would just take that, I mean, even Riot's doing it. Even Riot's making a standard RPG. I mean, they've already made a standard RPG. They made a card game. Raid could make a MOBA tomorrow that so many people would play, and they could just drip the popular heroes, right? They could
Yeah.
actually make an Arbiter storyline, you know, and that you could play through. But instead, they want to go do an Alien versus Predator like
Yeah.
IP crossover, and now Arbiter's, you know, throwing people with her mind across a spaceship and fighting a predator. Like, what is this? What are you doing? But yeah, I think Fateless they've got a narrative director, right? They've got a storyline, even though they're working with like free IP. They're making it their own version. All sorts of cool stuff could come out of this.
Yeah. In my mind, the next logical step, which would be an easy slam dunk for them, would be like a collectible card game.
Yeah.
Like
I can see that.
every hero already has abilities. They could find a way to convert those abilities into effects on a card, like the drain mechanic in Godforge, right? It's like lifesteal. They could just Guan Yu. He's like a 2/3 with drain. Like he attacks and then you heal. Like easy, right? Like it basically writes itself. Like what is the main feature of this hero, and how do we convert that into a card? They already have the art assets. It could be Scion versus Scion. You know, like rather similar in the same. I've basically been working on this already. If you couldn't tell, but like similar to what Hearthstone does with hero powers, that could be like instead the Scions could have their own ultimates, where like, but rather than it costing 2 mana and doing it every turn, maybe it costs 4 mana and you have to charge it. Put 2 mana into it to charge it one turn, and then the next you can spend it like. So there's build up to it, and you can choose to charge with your spare. I don't know, like there's it wouldn't be that hard to take what exists and adapt it to a card game. It would be like a super easy slam dunk. The hardest part would be like, what are the mechanics of this game? How does this game work? And if you can figure out that, like how does the combat work? How many cards do you start with the deck? How does the deck building work? Like that, obviously that's the hard part. But once you get that, like the cards make themselves because the heroes are already there.
What's the name of I mean Pantheon is clan, but what's the flavor of the different mythologies? What's the term again?
Oh shoot. Realms, I think is what they're calling them.
Realms. You could have
factions. Some people call
faction.
them the colloquial term, but I think in Godforge they're called realms.
You could almost do like a Hearthstone adjacent concept like that, where the Scions are like a generic Scion per faction, and like you could have like a Tian has an ability, right? But then also all Tian cards have a bonus, but you're not like color locked, right? So I'm not color locked into purple here. But when I'm playing purple, there's a bonus and I have an ability. And so then you have like a strategy behind this hero ability for the faction Scion is really good with this other faction. But I got to nerf myself to add those cards to my deck. I don't know. There's all sorts of cool stuff you can do.
See, I was thinking more like in Magic you have the 5 colors. So what I was thinking is to represent each color, you have your hero archetype like Brawler, Slayer, Invoker, like all those. And you have cards that, like Invoker, that's a support class, right? So what do Invokers do? They heal you, they give you turn meter. Okay, what is like turn meter? Would that be drawing cards? You know, you could have healing your heroes or yourself. You know, like Brawlers, they're a focus on tanky units that, you know, and then you have like the Defenders, they're focused on keeping your allies alive, like with shields and stuff. You know, like Slayers are aggressively statted, you know, more attack than health or whatever. Like that's, you know, I don't know. And then there's the disruptors. Ooh.
That's blue deck.
Yeah, exactly. Or blue black, something like that.
Somebody in the content creator program made a Godforge card
Yeah,
game.
yeah.
I can't remember.
Brand the Broke.
Yeah. And he was kind of showing how it worked, and it was a really unique way of thinking about a card game, like the way he was explaining the system.
Was it more like an auto battler or auto chess kind of, but represented with cards? I didn't watch the video, but I saw him talking about it a lot. I thought it was neat.
I don't even know how to like express what I took away from it. I didn't learn how to play in watching like one playthrough, but it seemed more like the mechanics of a game that you would make with a deck of playing cards, but then with like all these layers, of magic type abilities and Pokemon type abilities above that. But it seemed to have less to do with like damage and hit points and more about like making a bridge like point pool or something like that. But something like that exists. But I think you're right. Collectible card game. Obviously, reverse engineering it. It influenced gotchas. It influenced the mechanics of a turn-based fight system. Then, in turn, the feedback loop comes back, right, and that informs some sort of card game.
Yeah, I think that's why Raid clicked for me so well, because I've always been an avid deck builder in card games, and going into raids, like seeing all these different heroes with all these different abilities and finding which ones work well together. Like team building is very similar to deck building in my mind. Like I kind of look at it the same way. So it just kind of clicked for me. And Godforge is the same way. It was like I could look at these heroes, see who does what, mix and match, and make a function. But rather than it being random, like, oh, if I don't draw this card, I can't get my combo. You start with all the cards in your hand, effectively in a hero collector, right? Like,
right. Yeah.
You enter the battle with all the pieces to your combo, and then it's just taking the turns and speed tuning it and like, yeah, I don't know.
I tend to be like a balanced team builder and a balanced deck builder, unless I'm going for some kind of really strange combo deck. Like I tend to just always want balance. And the things I'm always like when I was building Magic decks, I was always hyper focused on my land to card ratios. And I was hyper focused on the way that I shuffled. Before I shuffled pure random, I would math shuffle to make sure that I had like an even disbursement, and then I would randomize. But like even in Godforge, I was running just super balanced teams, and maybe that's why I like Pengu so much. But when I was talking to Sage, and he was like, I like running all Slayers, and I was running 2 CCs. I was running Scotty and Mordred. I was like, oh, I didn't even think about taking 2 CCs in. I was like, I got to swap out my extra damage for the 1 CC so that I can keep my healer and my defender and all that.
Yeah. It's what I really liked about the Godforge Alpha is that there wasn't just one viable strategy. I mean, if you're talking about placing in the top 10 on the leaderboards, obviously the best team is the best team, right? But in terms of just going from floor 1 to getting to 151, there's so many viable strategies. And if the heroes you had weren't quite working, you can go and farm gear and get more stats and then brute force your way through until you got a new hero who unlocked a new strategy. Like when I got stuck on 142, I was like, the heroes that I have aren't working. The heroes that I have built aren't working. I have an idea for a new team. I'll build that team, come back and try it again tomorrow. So I completely rebuilt a whole new 4-man team, put them in, and then that new strategy worked. So like, yeah, it was just so gratifying to feel the hard work. Like I had a plan, I put it into motion, and it was successful. It wasn't easy, but I did it. Like, I just really hope that the game is that gratifying on release.
So it'll certainly be like discovered or like understood after some amount of time, right? Like people will have documented kind of the easiest or the best way to beat something. And I liked what Simon said on that episode of your podcast where he was saying that he wants modes where the knowledge and the experience translate to success versus the grind and the time put in. But he runs those free to play competitions, and I think he's coming from that headspace of like, you've learned the mechanics over time, you're very familiar with the system, like how RNG is going to bless you or curse you. What can you do with all of that bank of knowledge that you have within this like limited setup? I'm really looking forward to content like that.
Yeah. And even if people solve it by figuring out the best strategy, as long as there are an array of viable strategies, I think in my opinion, that's the key to having a successful game. It might not be the key to making loads and loads of money the way Plarium does, where if you don't have this one exact hero, you're not going to
Oh
beat the
yeah, the
content.
chase. Yeah.
Yeah, like there will still be people who chase the best strategy, so they can farm it faster, more efficiently, whatever. But locking content behind any one singular hero or champion is just like it ruins the fun because now there's nothing I can do to strategize to overcome this. Like Baumel and Doom Tower Heart. Okay, so I did a series for a little over a year called Free to Play Rares Only Plus for Raid Shadow Legends. The idea was to beat. My end goal was beat Doom Tower Hard. When I set and Ultra Nightmare Clan Boss. Like in my mind, if I did those two things, the series was a success.
With only rares.
And heroes who are free and permanently available. So login heroes, okay. Heroes from the clan shop, Drexlar Blood Twin, Doom Tower Secret Room. Like if I could unlock the hero with the rares only plus from like Doom Tower Secret Rooms, then it is because if you could beat the game with those heroes, like everyone has access to them. So why not use them? Why not show people how to use these champions? So I couldn't beat Baumel 50. And that's where I got stuck. I did Ultra Nightmare. I beat some factions in Faction Wars. And I got hard stuck on Baumel 50. Hard. Doom Tower hard. I beat Doom Tower normal, but like that boss is so overtuned that I don't think I can do it. And that was really disheartening to me. It's like I don't know, it's like if you don't have like the Baumel speed team or not Baumel, Nishak, where you do the ally attacks and you're just or just completely steamrolling it with super nutty OP heroes that are completely overgeared. What are you just can't do it. It's like it's so freaking hard. Like I mean I'm sure there are other ways, but what I wanted to set out to prove with that series is it doesn't matter who you use. What matters more is team synergy and how you have each individual hero built. So, but Baumel is just so overtuned. Like, I had no problem beating the final boss, which, not that rotation, because I couldn't, but the Dark Fae is the final boss of that rotation. I beat Dark Fae pretty easily, and then I got hard stuck on Baumel. So if I know that if I could find a strategy to overcome Baumel, I could beat Dark Fae and finish the rotation. But because Baumel is... It's such a ludicrous gear check, because like I was saying earlier, you need like 500 resistance on all your heroes to resist his bombs, and stuns, and everything. It's like, how are you supposed to just do that as a free-to-play player? Like, without getting ludicrous luck. Or, to me, that was just a poorly designed boss. And I feel like if I would have played that account for another year and farmed up enough gear, maybe I could have done it. But should I have to grind for 2 years to beat Doom Tower hard boss? Like, that's old content.
Yeah.
Like that. In my mind, that is a fundamentally flawed boss design. And he was way overtuned. Like, there's just not readily available strategies that normal everyday people can put together to overcome it, and that's not good design in my opinion.
I think every Baumel team I ever had was a gimmick. It was always a gimmick team, or
there's like the solo teams with like the the unkillable block damage, but people shouldn't have to cheese their way through. Like, I don't know. I just wanted to build a God's Honest team and do it like the way that I invented a freaking speed tune. I learned how to speed tune, made a spreadsheet, and invented a speed tune for Baumel so I could perfectly time Master Butcher's passive so it would come off cooldown after the first bomb explodes and then be off cooldown so he'd get a turn and then the second bomb explodes and he could heal everyone again. And like, even with like a perfectly speed tuned, optimized like thing, get like I still couldn't beat it with like a real team, and that to me was frustrating. Like it was cheese it or don't beat it at all.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. It was frustrating.
That was the first super frustrating fight in Raid for me. Ultimately, the first time I quit was because of Hydra. And like it was a bit of a rage quit because Hydra was so ridiculous when it came out. And I remember they like trolled everybody with it. They were like, "You're gonna hate this," and like we did. But then like when I came back to the game and I was like, "Whatever, Hydra's a part of it. I'm not gonna get sucked in like I did last time." I still found that I would jump in, start a fight, not be happy with it, back out, jump in, start a fight, not be happy with it, back out. 2 hours later, I still haven't locked in a score, and I'm like, I am actually wasting my life right now. And like,
Yeah.
this is not a healthy thing. And so I technically quit again because of Hydra, because it was taking more time than Clan Boss, you know?
Yeah. I think something interesting that going back to what you were talking about with like the Hell Hades Podforge episode, he was talking about the way Pantheon bosses, what they're thinking currently. Now, obviously, this could all change, but their current thinking is that you will design a clan boss for your opponents to fight during the Pantheon versus
Yeah,
Pantheon
that
battles.
sounds really cool.
And while I thought it was exciting and interesting, I can totally see people getting frustrated with it the same way they get frustrated with Hydra, because I feel like in this genre, what people want to do is build their team and then put their team in and hit auto. But every time there's a Pantheon versus Pantheon war, you're going to have this situation where you don't know what boss you're going to fight, so the team that you have built for this game mode might not work. So it's like I could definitely see people getting frustrated because I think the reason why people get frustrated with Hydra is because there was so much RNG. You kill a head and a new head pops up, and that head is strong affinity against this hero, so the debuff isn't working, and now they're fearing you, and
Yeah. Then all the stuff
another
goes off.
RNG, and it's just RNG and RNG, RNG, RNG. You can't plan for anything. You can't build a team and hit auto unless you're way over geared for it. Like you have to be so overgeared and use such OP champions that you effectively trivialize the content, so you could just hit auto and let it go. But there that there were so few players that could do that it was just frustrating. I don't know. That's the whole point of this genre is that you can just hit auto and let it go while you do other things. As I was saying, like at the beginning, like
Yeah.
I got into
yeah.
raid because I didn't have to choose, and it never took up more time than I was willing to give it at any given moment. But now all of a sudden I've got this Hydra mode, and you want me to play it on manual 3 times a week every week? I don't have an hour to do that. Like, and then the requests. So if I want my daily rewards, I got to do it today. I don't have time to do it today. I'm at work today. Like what no, it's completely antithetical to the game mode. So I was a little concerned when Simon was talking about that with the Pantheon boss, because I'm worried we're gonna start going down that rabbit hole. So that was one concern that I had. But if maybe it's more fun than Hydra, but I'm a little concerned. I'm cautiously, like maybe we could take another look at this.
I could see a world where there's like a spreadsheet that shows every combination that's possible and an optimized team per combination, and then Pantheons having members make sure that they had one of those teams built. And it's like, oh, Bob, it's your turn this month. I went in and they've got, XYZ. So you got to bring in your heavy hitter since you built that team.
What will probably happen is people will find out what the best Pantheon boss is and make that Pantheon boss, and then the meta will stagnate, and this is the best, so this is what we're prepared for. But then the wily ones will be like, well, everyone's going to be preparing for this boss. Mm-hmm. Let's throw this one at them. So then I don't know. Who knows?
Who knows? It'll be new. It'll be fun because it's new until it becomes a job like everything else.
Yeah.
Well, I know that we've gone fairly long without kind of touching on the other two topics, so I wanted to be sure we got a chance to get your opinion. But let's talk music real quick. Is music important to you, and if so, how and what?
When I was younger, I was really into music. I had favorite bands, and if you didn't like the type of music I liked, then you're an idiot. And
Yeah.
what I was an edgy But as I've gotten older, I care less about genre and more about music. I do love music. I love to sing. I'm not a great singer, but it's fun and I enjoy doing it. I do karaoke with my daughter every now and then. We
Oh,
actually did it a
nice.
couple nights ago. But like, music just moves you. If a song moves me, then I will be into it, regardless of the genre. I still have, I'm not super big into country music or like rap. But
What
if a
was the
good rap
genre you
song,
were arrogant about?
punk rock. I was a punk rocker. I
Oh,
was a
okay.
skater dude. I had a mohawk in high school.
Who were your
Like
purest punk bands? Like when you were saying somebody wasn't punk, like what did you consider good punk?
I listened to Misfits. That was like the big
Okay,
because they
yeah.
were like nobody knew who they were, and I was edgy and cool because I knew who the Misfits were. Like they weren't a popular band, so that was the one I was kind of snobby about. And then, but I also listened to like Green Day, Offspring, Blink 182, like pop punk
Yeah.
bands. Like they had a pop like a punk vibe, but more mainstream. But Misfits was my favorite band in high school because I thought I was cool because I listened to a band that no one else was listening to.
Misfits a good one though. I mean, if you're going to listen to a punk band, Misfits is a good one.
Yeah,
I
but
listened to a lot of punk, and I was a ska person, and I
yeah,
had some
ska.
friends that were like,
Did you wear a lot of plaid?
I did. I had a ska band at one point, and I would always wear a Hawaiian shirt and black and white plaid pants. That was my on stage getup.
Nice.
But I was not punk enough for my punk friends. It's like I was listening to Face to Face, and they thought that was stupid. That Rancid was the only punk band, and then later in life, they like came to me and they were like, "Man, I heard this Face to Face song that was really good." And I was like, "You see, you gave me so much crap."
Yeah.
Yeah, punk will do that to you, though. I think I just got done telling Ragewood how, like, when I was in high school, people who wore skate shoes who didn't skate, I would get
Posers.
like, yeah, I'd totally call them out. I was that guy.
Yeah. I think that's normal to have that mentality when you're a kid, though. I think.
And then you just
Yeah. Like,
parlay that into like crap talking Hearthstone videos on YouTube, you know?
yeah. Yeah. I was still pretty edgy back in those days, but I've come a long way since then. Yeah, music to me is more just about feeling something these days. Like I recently discovered this YouTube channel. The guy's name is Frank Tedesco, and he'll get on like chat roulette style websites. And when the person pops up, hey, what's your favorite song? So okay, can I listen to it real quick? He'll listen to it, and I'll just play by ear, and it like blows people's minds. It's really cool seeing them react to hearing their favorite song being played by ear by someone who's never heard it before. It's very wholesome, and it, anything that can make you feel something to me is good music. Good art, any good art makes you feel something, right? So that's kind of where I'm at these days. I don't listen to a lot of music anymore because the radio in my car broke and I'm too cheap to fix it. But I really like the K-pop Demon Hunter soundtrack.
There you go.
Yeah.
K-pop in general, man, that came out of nowhere. I think we were at a restaurant in Utah when I saw nonstop like K-pop videos playing on a TV, and that's when I realized that it was like taking off. Like it wasn't just a meme anymore; it was a thing now.
Yeah.
That was a while ago, though. That was like 10 years. Maybe it's
Yeah.
like anything a meme of itself now.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't really listen to K-pop in general. I'm not cool enough for that. But that movie in particular was just really good. I got choked up about 3 different times watching that movie. And then now listening to the soundtrack, like if I try to sing it out loud while I'm listening to it, I'm like,
Are you forced to listen to like all sorts of music that you don't like because of having a young daughter? Like, have you heard the Frozen soundtrack 8,000 times on repeat?
I have, but I actually kind of liked Let It Go.
No.
Like that's one of the songs we sing when we do karaoke.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I don't know, man. I'm way more open to that kind of stuff in my older, wiser years than I would have been 10 years ago, 20, 15 years ago. Like, I don't know. I'm just, good music's good music, man. Like, I'm not
Nice.
genre blind like I used to be. So,
Yeah. I opened up more. I went through like genre phases until I just became like, what am I in the mood for today? But I still like everything I listen to is like the weird version of it that very few people have ever heard of.
Yeah, it's still cool to be a hipster every now and then.
I can't avoid it. I can't avoid it. It just
It's
is.
the inner hipsters. It's in all of us, you know.
Yeah, I guess I was before there was a word for it. I embraced it at one point. I remember going to a dance club in Denver with my friends and cutting my hair to where I just had a big like swoop across my face and wearing an ascot. I mean, I went all in. I had pink sunglasses, so we were at the nightclub with pink sunglasses on and an ascot. This
That's
was
the
like
vibe.
2012 or something. I mean, just like in the smack dab middle of that whole thing.
Yeah, right on, man.
Well, then the culture piece. I mean, we've talked quite a bit about like the culture of YouTube and gaming and AI. But is there any culture topic that you wanted to touch on, or something that's been important to you?
Man, I don't know. I I kind of have my blinders on when it comes to like news and media. Like I there's so much crap out there that I just don't want it to bring me down. Like I don't watch, like my wife always gives me a hard time because I block it out and she doesn't. So when something happens and she wants to talk about it, I have no opinion or information on the subject, and she gets frustrated because she was hoping to have a conversation about it. I'm like, beats me. I just tune it all out, man. Like I'm just got the blinders on. I focus on what I like and what makes me happy, and I live a happy little ignorant life. Ignorance is bliss.
I think some viewers might have been hoping with that beard that you would have said something like, "Yeah, I'm a blacksmith. Let me tell you about
I
the
do like
culture of
watching Forged
smithing."
and Fire.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, and
One of
there's
my
a
old punk friends who did that rancid nonsense to me was on that show. He became a
nice.
knife maker and he competed.
That's cool. Yeah, there's a ton of like YouTube. I mean, I'm on YouTube all the time. Like that's my when I'm in the mood to be entertained, I go to YouTube, and then like if I can't find anything on YouTube, then I'll go to Netflix or Amazon Video.
Yeah.
YouTube is my go-to. But there's a ton of YouTubers that do like blacksmithing stuff. There's this guy named Knives Project is his channel, and he's got a big beard, and he's just like, I don't know, man. He just makes some really cool stuff. And I recently discovered this channel called Alex Steele. He's a blacksmith. He does really interesting like blacksmith adjacent content. I just like watching people make things with their hands. Like he did a video that I watched yesterday where he went to a cooper, which is the people who make barrels. Apparently, there's like 3 coopers left in the world or something like that. Like it's a dying art, and he went there to like make a barrel with this guy who makes barrels by hand for a living, and it was just cool to watch them work together and see the old processes and take materials and turn it into something practical. Like that is like really interesting to me. I watch a lot of that kind of stuff on YouTube. Just people making stuff.
I went through a big maker phase. I was watching all sorts of maker shows. I don't know if it was because of Forged in Fire or how we got into it. Maybe really Mythbusters, because Mythbusters made all sorts of...
Do you watch Adam Savage's channel, Tested?
I haven't. I've been hearing about it a lot recently, but I haven't watched it yet.
He had a podcast. In addition to, I don't think the podcast has ever titled it. They made jokes about it for like the first year that they'll name it someday, but they've never named it. I think now it's called like the Still Untitled Podcast by Adam Savage or something like that. But I was listening to it at work one day, and he had a nugget of wisdom that changed my entire life. Like, I'm not joking. I could pinpoint the moment where my perception of reality shifted, and I became a good person. Like, you know how I was talking about how I used to be kind of shitty when I was younger, and now I'm more enlightened.
It's all due to Adam Savage.
One quote completely changed my entire perception of how I view everything, and it made me a good person. So, I'll context. He was talking about mastering your craft. That was the subject of the podcast, and he was going on to say how like it takes 10,000 hours to master any craft, and he was talking about the Dunning-Kruger effect, where when you're new to something, you think you know, like once you've learned just enough about a topic, you think you know everything there is to know, but really like you don't know anything. And this phenomenon that happens in everything. Like if you just Google the Dunning-Kruger effect, you could read about it, but it's really interesting. But he was going on to like talk about how like he's still learning new things in the maker space. And I was like, and at that time, I thought like I knew everything. I was the master. Like, but hearing someone as experienced and talented and skilled as Adam Savage humbly admit that they don't know everything and they're still learning things and they're still mastering their craft. Seeing how good he is and skillful he is on Mythbusters and hearing him say that, like, who the hell am I? I am nobody. If Adam Savage is still humble enough to open his mind to the fact that he doesn't know everything and he's still learning and mastering his craft, I'm nobody. And it was like this huge humbling experience where I was like, it completely shifted my mentality on everything. Like, I opened my mind. I started listening to people who had more experience than me when they gave me advice about my job specifically. It's like, I wonder if I thought I was knew too much about my job to take that advice. And I was arrogant and I blocked it out. I was like, I wonder, maybe I should try it just to see if it works. And I just tried this technique that someone was telling me about and doing it the way that they told me I should do it. And I was like, holy cow, this works so much better. I've been doing this wrong for like 4 years because I thought I knew everything. I was like, well, what else have other people told me that I was doing wrong, that I was too arrogant to listen to? I was like, oh, well. And then I went back and started trying all these things that people would try to advise me to do differently on my job. But because I thought I was the expert, I just ignored it. So like I started applying all this advice that people had given me and I ignored over the years. And it's like, holy cow, they knew what they were talking about. And it just completely changed my perception. And if that was true for my job, the thing that I did 10 hours a day, 4 days a week for years, what else is there in life that I thought I knew everything about, but it turns out I didn't know? You know, so then I started applying that same mentality to gaming. Like, and whenever I start to feel confident that I've mastered it, I catch myself in that moment. And rather than letting it go to my head and getting cocky, I remember like the Dunning-Kruger effect. I'm not as good at this as I think I am. I just have a basic understanding. So then I broaden my mind, I open my mind, and I'm open to the, like when someone says, hey, you should try this, I'm like, that is a good idea. Let's try that. Or if somebody comes at me with something that is contrary to what I believe, what I would used to do, but I used to be like, no, you're wrong, I know. But now, if they come at me with something that's contrary to what I believe, I'm like, oh, that's interesting. That's contrary to what I believe. But maybe you're right. Let's look into this. Let's test it out. Let's get to the bottom of it. Let's find out together. I don't care about winning an argument. I care about getting to the truth. And that wasn't always the case. I used to only care about winning the argument when I was younger. But now I'm like, well, let's find out. It would take me 2 seconds to research this. Like, I don't know. And once I had that moment, like Adam Savage literally changed my life with that podcast. Like,
interesting.
I'm just like, I can guarantee you, if I never listened to that podcast, my channel would suck and no one would watch me. I would be insufferable. But I feel like I've learned to be a good, open-minded person, and it's just completely changed my entire world.
It's cool, like knowing those moments, like having sort of a watershed moment can come from anywhere. And I was thinking about a movie. I don't even remember. It was while I was sweeping today, some movie that had affected me. And all I can think of right now is Fight Club, and it wasn't Fight Club, but Fight Club affected me a lot. Like, I think moving into adulthood, because I saw it when I was much younger, I always thought that, like, you are not the contents of your wallet. You are not your pair of khaki pants or whatever. Like, I had that mentality before I became an adult, which I think helped me with a lot of, non-materialism for a long time. But no, that's cool. The Adam Savage quote, just sort of watershed moment, changing not only your job, but the way that you sort of saw everything around you. That's
literally
really cool.
changed my life. Yeah. Like, completely altered my perception of reality, and for the better. Like, yeah.
Oh, I know what it was. It was In the Mouth of Madness. I don't know if you're a horror movie fan or not, but
I dabble.
In the Mouth of Madness is John Carpenter's homage to Lovecraftian horror before Lovecraftian horror became like the coolest thing in cinema and all of that, right? But he made his version of it, which is not a retelling of a Lovecraft story. It's like just his take, right? And so there's a moment in the movie where I don't want to give away anything for anybody who hasn't seen it, but like the whole scene is shot with a blue filter on it. And sometimes this pops up in YouTube videos for like effect when people, it's Sam Neill and everything's blue. But there's a concept in the movie that's just this very like basic concept that's like, if one day the majority of people in the world were no longer sane, but were insane, and you yourself were still sane, you would be the one in the insane asylum with the straitjacket on. And that got me, like, as a kid, that whole, like, concept of, like, manifested reality around us is from the majority take, no matter if that's good or bad, right?
Yeah. It's like you're enlightened and awakened to the world around you. You see reality for what it is, but it's like no one else does. So, like, what's that guy talking about? The sky is blue. Like, get him out of here. Yeah, I don't know.
Well, right on, man. Well, we pushed it to the limit this time. I think originally I set out for this to be an hour-long podcast, but it's like every guest, it gets a little longer and a little longer. I won't let it go to Rogan levels of like 3 hours, though.
Yeah.
That's too much in the Godforge days.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we didn't bore anybody to sleep. Or maybe we did. Maybe someone was trying to fall asleep and like, hey, I'll listen to this 2-hour podcast and fall asleep.
There you go.
Whatever your goals were, I hope we achieved it.
Well, thank you so much for joining. The meta of having the Godforge podcast guy on a semi-Godforge podcast is very satisfying to me. So thank you for joining.
Thank you for having me. It was great conversation. I appreciate it.
And thank you, everybody, for listening. Peace.